Hello and welcome back to Heroes of the Dorm in Los Angeles. My name is Trixler. Joining me is now Grubby. Grubby, welcome, buddy.
Yeah, it's good to be back, man. Match 6 here. You guys did awesome. I'm glad to be back. Let's do some commentating.
I'm so excited, and we're going to be jumping into the 6th game of the series. Now, if you've never seen Heroes of the Dorm before, welcome. It's a hero brawler, back and forth action. You've got to destroy your opponent's core, but of course, there's a lot of crazy strategy, teamwork, and a lot of innovation that is occurring as we've had some crazy compositions the last few hours, but we'll be going into that pretty darn soon. Now, our teams for the evening will be Boston College versus Carleton University. They are our 6th team, so let's check out the brackets, see where everyone's at so far.
Yeah, we are now in the Super 16. We're over halfway already. 3 more amazing matches to be played here. Next one up is Boston College versus Carleton. All right, Western Ontario, we saw them win before. There was a lot of 2-0s earlier in the day, but the action has been picking up, Trixler.
That it is. Our last couple of games have been crazy best of 3s. Indiana versus Rutgers in the top right corner was our match that we just watched. We saw Indiana take it over a 2-1 series, but man, those were long, drawn-out games that were very even in terms of skill. A lot of composure from Indiana, and they were able to take it, and they'll be in the Epic 8 next Saturday on ESPN3, so cannot wait to watch them. But of course, we've got to check out Boston College versus Carleton. Who do you think might take this series, my friend?
Well, I do believe that Jester, our co-caster, was quite excited there for Carleton as they hail from his native Canada.
Nice, yeah.
Yeah, so personally, I don't know too much yet. I know these are going to be amazing players, but I haven't had a lot of chance to see them play before.
Yeah, that's totally true here. As you can see here, Boston Eagles versus the Carleton Ravens. Carleton University versus Boston College. And I'm excited for Boston as well. We have a lot of amazing events like PAX in Boston, so can't wait to see that. But let's go ahead and check out the teams and who exactly will be playing for who here, Grubby.
All right, for the Boston Eagles, Boston College, we've got Aristidis Mait Vasilopoulos, a Greek name if I've ever seen one, Christopher Semi-Cute Choi, Paul Apollo O, Jeffrey King Plato Yi, and Andrew Fabs Fabiano.
I like Apollo's name there. Nice little clever wordplay there with his name. Nicely done there. Yeah. So that'll be representing, those players will be representing Boston College. So can't wait to watch their matches. And of course, our next team as well, that will be representing the blue team. It will be Carleton University, or the Carleton Ravens as well as their name. It's going to be Fitzy, Wolfgar, Cadaverific, Big Yeller, and Pet Tootie. Patootie.
Cadaverific.
Cadaverific. Oh,
lovely name.
I'm horrendous when it comes to these names, man. But we're going to learn them. We're going to get them down. It's going to be great going into the matches. So our first battleground, remember, for the round of 16 will be Cursed Hollow at every point. Cursed Hollow, again, is a battleground that you have to collect 3 tributes on. If you do collect 3, it will curse your opponents, putting them down to low HP and low ammo and allow you to push. There's a lot of strategy, a lot of innovation, a lot of rotation that'll be occurring on this map. So it's one of our favorites to open up on.
Yeah, there are many roads that lead to Rome. Many different ways to leverage a little bit of advantage to your side in order to clinch ultimate victory. We do know that they are ready to start drafting, so they will start to decide which heroes they will enlist to their aid to try and achieve their goals.
Well, Patootie looks like he'll be picking up Illidan for the Carleton Ravens. A solid pick, one that we haven't seen in a couple of games for now, but a hero that you really got to trust your teammates when you're playing with them.
Yeah. Personally, I'm scared playing on Illidan because you need that support.
Yeah.
You jump in there, it's very scary. It's like kind of like doing bungee jumping, and you got to make sure your gear is in proper order. Against Illidan will be arrayed the forces of Boston Eagles, and they're picking 2 excellent ranged damage dealers. They have slow effects, they have disabling effects, and they are a very lethal duo. Sylvanas by King Plato and Apollo on Jaina there.
Both of these heroes by themselves are very hard for Illidan to dive into, so great pick here for Boston Eagles. The Carleton Ravens will follow up into Diablo here, playing for a Cadaverific. And then, of course, their third hero will be Tassadar, playing by Wolfgar here. So they do have that semi-support here for Illidan. He can throw down shield and help him dive in. And, of course, band-aid his weaknesses, which is he doesn't have very much health and can be focused down really quickly.
Yeah, and I can't think of a better wingman for Illidan to jump in there as Diablo, who also has that shadow charge ability, and he can join Illidan there, diverting attention from him.
Semi-Cute will pick up a semi-strong warrior here with ETC, one that we've been seeing in a majority of matchups. He can really force a lot of fights for you if you would like to move in. And then Fabs will be playing Malfurion, grabbing a healer there. One, they feel like they can win a sustained team fights, it looks like. They're not going for too much crazy bursts except for Jaina, but overall, they feel like they have better team mechanics and can deal with Patootie pretty well. So nice pickup here with Fabs.
Yeah, nice healer there. And in order to out-damage that healing that Fabs can provide on the Malfurion, we see Fitzy there going with the trusty Vala pick, a very mobile hero that can dart in and out of combat and has a bow and arrow to fight for her. She'll be joined by Big Yeller on the Rhaegar player, who can bring Illidan from the brink of death and get into the jaws of victory.
The Carleton Ravens getting a strong composition, especially for the hero that they first picked, so nicely done here. And this will be a new hero for us in the Heroes of the Dorm. Mate is going to be picking up Tyrael.
Yeah, we've seen Tyrael once before today, but it is definitely a rare pick, and it's also the second warrior. Now, Tyrael, he is pretty cool. He's got the Archangel's Wrath. If Tyrael suffers an untimely demise, he can blow up on the enemy and do a massive area of effect damage. But mostly, he would like that not to come to pass and use his Judgment heroic ability to jump in there and start the fight, exploding everyone on the enemy team.
And of course, his primary abilities are there: Eldruin's Might, Righteousness, and Smite. So you have a way to get into fights with Eldruin's Might. Righteousness has shields, and Smite, of course, is a nice damage dealer in the early game. In fact, Tyrael has some of the highest damage in the early game, so he'll be in lanes, and if it's in a 1v1, he can win pretty darn well. So watch out for Tyrael, and we'll see how he engages in the mid game with that Judgment that Grubby mentioned.
Yeah, all right, so we are just about ready to jump into the game, so let's see the forces here of the blue team, the Boston Eagles playing for Boston College. We've got Semi-Cute, Mayet, King Plato, Fabs, and Apollo.
All right, blue team looking great. On the far right, the Carleton Ravens will be Cadaverific, Patootie, Big Yeller, Fitzy, and there in the bottom right will be the last hero. It's going to be Wolfgar.
All right,
wow,
the pieces
all 5 are on the bottom. Are they going to go aggressive, man?
I've seen 5 of them pass the bottom before, and then they would go kind of veer towards the middle and maybe see if they can catch someone in the woods.
Well,
they're going to this watchtower, and they're going to go kind of in between the middle and the bottom lane and see if they can catch anyone unawares.
Well, it looks like no one from the blue team is in position to get caught. If anyone, it might be the ETC right above here. It'll be Cadaver that will be actually leading the charge if possible, and he'll try out Semi-Cute. But Semi-Cute has a lot of cute maneuvers that he can use to get away from the fight, so this will not be occurring. Right now, if you're the Carleton Ravens, you need to start spreading out and get to your lanes because you need to get that experience.
This is pretty crazy. I've never seen an ambush attempted for this period of time. The top and the bottom lane are completely unoccupied. They will now start heading there, but they will miss a little bit of experience.
Let's go to the top lane really quick. Sylvanas is a little out of position. King Plato trying to help out with the damage. Will get Fitzy a little bit low, but overall, yes, now the Ravens need to get to lanes. And they actually did miss a small amount of experience. Oh my gosh, Patootie going aggressive, just straight up diving in. And with Big Yeller there to help out with the healing, you totally can, but you need to make sure you're a little careful. Don't get too aggressive.
Yeah. Yeah, he's just jumping in, scaring the opponent a little bit, but no major harm done. This will kind of devolve into a more stable status quo unless someone makes a bit of a mistake. Fitzy is taking a bit of damage there. The blue team is pushing the Carleton Ravens out a little bit.
All right, let's go check out the bottom lane as it looks like we're going to be having Diablo versus Tyrael, which is a bit of an interesting matchup, especially lore-wise, but we'll talk about that later as Mate and Cadaverific will be going at it. Overall, this is a lane that really, there won't be much kill potential, much takedown potential. Mate does have the damage, but Cadaver has a lot of health. He has an ability to retreat pretty well if he knocks someone away. And of course, he has a natural regen as he sits in the lane longer and longer. So this will kind of be a back and forth lightweight fight, if you will.
Yeah, the potential here in the lane is more for mistakes. Now, that was a nice move by Cadaverific. He's adding a bit of damage on the Archangel Tyrael by pushing him into his own allied towers. That wasn't lethal damage by any chance, though.
But it was enough to chunk him and make him pull back and heal. So Mason, of course, learn from that mistake, hopefully, and not get too aggressive. Let's check out the middle lane as we have Tassadar and ETC, Wolfgore, and Semi-Cute going at it. Wolfgore can actually push us a little bit better overall, and he's going to keep up with that aggression constantly with the side storm. Let's go ahead and check out on the top left, though. As we're hitting the 2-minute mark, we're going to see mercenary camps being grabbed here by our teams. We have the Bruisers in the bottom right corner being grabbed by the Carleton Ravens, and we have the Siege Giants grabbed by the Boston Eagles on the far left that are now going to start pushing the top lane.
Yeah, the Siege Giants are trundling down that lane and will start to throw their rocks. Now, ideally, a tribute would spawn at the bottom. This is what the blue team, the Boston College, would ideally like. But the tribute will spawn right here. There's a certain factor of randomness where it will spawn, so it's going to spawn north. This is going to make it easier for the Carleton Ravens to try and take down those Giants, even as they're trying to interrupt the capture of that tribute of the Boston Eagles.
Well, the Carleton Ravens are putting a few more members here, all 4 here, and then finally the Semi-Cute will show up to help out the Boston Eagles with grabbing this, and you see both teams going at it. There are 2 members in the very far bottom lane just staying in a complete lane absorbing mode, so that this is a 4v4. It is even. It's all about who can get the jump, and right now you're looking at Semi-Cute and Patootie. Those are the 2 heroes that will dive in for their teams and really start a fight.
Yeah, even Jaina went to the middle lane. If we can take a sneak peek there, she's got to stop that Bruiser camp from pushing. She did what she can. Now she's going to come back to the tribute. Is it too late? No, not yet. Perfect communication. Her allies were able to interrupt the capture of that tribute. Carleton Ravens will not be getting any freebies there. Will now start to try and get it. They're very close to getting it, but an interruption by the Malfurion player. Nice usage there of the Moonfire.
Yeah, it looks like Wolfgore will finally get this, though. The Banshees were just a couple seconds late there from King Plateau. But overall, nice slow for the most part. We're going to have the Boston Eagles just a little bit ahead of their opponents. They're at level 7 right now, as they did do a good job of at least getting the minion experience in the middle lane. But they did give a tribute up for that experience. Overall, not too much of a pain. For the most part, I would say it's a little bit even, just with Boston Eagles a smidgen ahead.
Yeah, but exactly. And those little bits of advantages can either get slowly neglected and evened out, or they can be capitalized on and built upon.
And I believe the Boston Eagles are planning to keep up with that advantage. They're actually maneuvering their way from the top lane all the way down to the Knights in the top left. Let's go ahead and check that out here, as it looks like the Bruisers will be grabbed here by Sylvanas. She will need a teammate's help. She can't do this all by herself. King Plateau will need a teammate, and we have Apollo coming up to help out the teammate as well. Grabbing these Bruisers, going to grab those, have those push in the middle lane. That gives a little bit of experience and also gives you map pressure, because the next tribute will be up pretty soon.
And there we go, just to their right, the tribute in a perfect location seemingly for them. They will not need to do any travel. Both teams are now level 8, so it's kind of a fair fight. We've got the Bruisers pushing for the blue team, but the Carleton Ravens also have Siege Giants pushing at the bottom. So here we go, a big engagement there.
Oh, King Plateau gets caught out of position, and he actually uses Banshees already. Gets focused down immediately. The Ravens secure a quick takedown. In fact, we'll probably get this tribute, as you see everyone from the Eagles spreading away. They go ahead and move to lanes. Nice decision making there. They realize, all right, we cannot grab this tribute. There's no way to do it. Let's just go ahead and get what we can, and that's minion waves.
Yeah, they're not clinging on to factors already lost. They're accepting their sunk costs and say, okay, 4 versus 5. We have the ability to disengage. Let's do it.
Good call by them, and they'll go back to lanes, and they're going to keep that advantage in terms of levels. It's 9-8 right now. The red team, the Ravens, are a little bit behind. If they can secure a takedown or potentially deny some experience in a lane, they can totally even that out. But for the most part, the Eagles are on track to hit 10 before their opponents, which will allow for them to get ready for the next tribute.
So very soon that next tribute is happening. In just several seconds, it will be appearing, and in this time, can the Carleton Ravens actually get to level 10? So far they're not, and neither are the Boston Eagles, but they're oh so close.
They are very, very close to hitting 10, and they want to come up here and compete. They need to wait till it hits 10. Watch that scoreboard down there in the bottom of the screen for you. In the top, actually, we have a bit of an engagement happening above everyone here. We have Patootie charge on in. He's low on HP. The heroic here from Apollo takes 2 members out, Grubby.
Oh man, they got 2 heroes there on the cusp of the Carleton Ravens being able to get that level 10. They're just away from it, and they suffer 2 losses. That was not a vital tribute for them. They realized it. They said, okay, we give way. We let you get the tribute, knowing that you're going to be busy capturing it for a while. But in a stroke of genius, the Boston Eagles didn't capture the tribute, and they went right for the top lane, and they took 2 takedowns as their prize for their gambit there.
And by the way, they're keeping up the pressure, going for the 4, but finally the Ravens do show up with all 5 members. They charge in, and Mafurian gets blasted immediately here. A kill straight back into another takedown. Back and forth for our teammates, but however, Boston Eagles were able to grab that 4. That's a big advantage for them because they are able to have a little bit of map pressure now, and they also get the added experience for taking out that fort.
Yeah, exactly. And just seconds before the next tribute will be coming. Yeah, the tributes keep coming. It's relentless. The pace is high. Even so, Patootie wants to get this bruiser camper. We've learned that distractions can make the enemy divert their attention, and that's all you need in this intensely strategical game. Even a few seconds of having a 5v4 could give you that advantage that you need to tilt it completely in your favor in battle.
And the tribute spawns down here in the 6 o'clock position. We have a couple members from both teams already here. We do have Jaina and Rhaegar lagging behind us there in the back, but right now it's currently a 4v4. Wolfgar feints a little bit of pressure. Cadaver moves forward. He wants to maybe get Fabs picked off, or potentially Plato once again. We're going to see who will be the main targeted focus here for the red team as the Carleton Ravens are looking around. Patootie, though, out of position.
Patootie out of position. Judgment is used on him.
Oh, wow.
The combination. He had nothing. He couldn't do anything. He was completely out of control. Patootie now taken down. It's a 4v5. They feel committed. They're doing the fight. Cadaverific is out of position. He can't get through. He's been body blocked.
Fitzy gets a decent amount of damage overall, but the Boston Eagles are doing so well here. Fitzy in trouble, trying to run away. A third takedown here for the Boston Eagles as Illidan will be spawning pretty soon, but he's already away from the fight, and the Boston Eagles will be securing this tribute.
Oh man, they're getting their second tribute now. 2 out of 3 versus 2 out of 3. Sure, that looks even, but the hero levels are not. With Boston Eagles having those 2 takedowns, 3 takedowns, they are now level 13 versus 12. And the 5th tribute trickster is going to be oh so important, as it will secure the curse for the team that can capture it.
Yeah, you're right, Grubby. It's important for both teams and the Ravens knowing they're a little bit behind here on level 13 to 12. Do they contest it? Do they try and sneak as fast as they can to get to level 13? I'm not sure they can fully get to that level if they'll have enough time. It does come down to the random spawns of the tribute, so hopefully it'll be in their fortune. But overall, Fitzy actually getting a little aggressive here on Apollo. King Plato helps out with damage overall, but a nice little scuffle in the middle, which is reassuring to me if you're a Raven fan. It means they're not too scared even though they're a little bit behind.
Yeah, exactly. You can give a finger, but don't give a hand.
Very, very true here. And we start to see the Boston Eagles actually group up. Their tribute is now up here in the top right corner. They engage on Big Yellow. The silence hits him. Wow, the coordination is perfect here for the Boston Eagles as they take out one member. They are now in a 5v4 situation.
Yeah, that was on point. They knew exactly what to do. One step out of position, the Rhaegar player there, and they jumped on it, and there was nothing he could do. He was permanently stunned, damaged, and taken from 100% of his life to 0 in just a split second.
Well, with the coordinated play, the Boston Eagles will be rewarded. They're going to get this curse that will now allow them to push the middle lane. They do have a member at the very far bottom, in fact, being taken down by Illidan. So let's check out the bottom lane really quickly as we see Semi-Cute here with Patootie. He's going to try and keep up the aggression. Remember, he can jump into a fight at any point if it needs to because he did pick up the heroic stage dive. But we do see the Boston Eagles really taking this lead and moving forward. There's Cadaver, though, charging in.
They're jumping in on Fabs, and they get Malfurion. It's a 5v4 now. Will Cadaverific be able to survive? A very critical ancestral healing there by the Rhaegar player on Cadaverific. It's a 5v4. They will try to get more takedowns, but they're unable to, as there was an immediate dispersal by the Boston Eagles. They said, we don't have to do this. We can still get away from this. A very quick decision. I can only imagine what the communication must have sounded like between these players. Fall back, as they're letting the curse do its work and are going on to other smaller objectives.
I agree. They didn't have to fight there anymore. They realized as soon as the Ravens went in that they were confident with their ability. They decisively took out Fabs right away, which is the main healer for Boston Eagles, which is important to have in a team comp, especially if you're not going to secure really fast takedowns. So nice pullback from them. They decided to pull back, and overall, they're actually still ahead. They hit level 16 because they pulled back. They played defensively when they needed to. They're now grabbing a golem in the bottom left corner. While in the middle lane, if you want to check that out, the Ravens are now going to have to actually defend against these bruisers that are coming their way, which means the golem in the bottom left is free. The real question is, are they going to come up here and deal with the golem in the very far top right that the Ravens look like they may want to grab?
Yeah, I mean, if they wanted to somehow deny that, they would have had to go for it immediately. They went too late for it. They showed themselves in the middle lane at the bruisers, then they went to it. It was very obvious to telegraph their movement, so we've got an immediate scoot over, flying over here by Boston College Eagles. And they will actually, as you said, secure that Grave Golem there. And there's nothing that the Carleton Ravens can do. They have something else to say about that. Dropping in there on Maya Davala, the Tyrael player. He will jump out with Eldrin's Might. A Rain of Vengeance being used. Their judgment on Patootie the Illidan. He jumps away. A wonderful jump away, but can he make it back into the fight with full life? Cadaverific goes down. The first takedown of the fight.
Patootie staying alive, but can he do it much longer? Wolfgar and Fitzy trying to pull back, and overall the Eagles, with that level advantage, are able to just barely edge out their opponents. And now they'll go back to grabbing the golem. They actually did secure it. They'll be pushing the top lane. And in fact, the Eagles were so on point in that fight, even though it looked a little dire for a second there, they're all still alive. They're going to use this advantage and go ahead and push the top lane.
Yeah, now the primary target that ideally the Carleton Ravens would like to take down is that Malfurion player on Fabs. We're going to have to pay close watch to how Fabs is moving. We can see he's keeping himself scars, keeping himself in the backline. For if he goes down, he is the solo support in this game for the Boston Eagles. So before, when he got taken down, great, they had to stop. But if we see the focused fire going down on Mayet, the Tyrael player, he's a warrior, he's more beefy, he has more natural defenses, and he's got that Eldrin's Might to teleport away with his sword.
Totally agree with you, Grubby. Great analysis there. And in fact, behind all of this, the Boston Eagles are actually going to be grabbing the tribute in the far top left corner. Again, they don't really need it right now, but it's free for them, and it also denies a curse for the Ravens. So great pickup for them. They're just getting all their cooldowns available on their heroics. And in fact, they're grouping up down here in the bottom right corner. They might go for the Tassadar that's in the bottom lane. Let's go ahead and check that out. As we see over here, we have Wolfgar just a little out of position. He does get back home, but the Eagles get Siege Giants.
Yeah, the Siege Giants here were the only thing left to be taken on the map. So both teams were acutely aware that there could be a heightened enemy presence there. The Siege Giants will have been captured by the Boston Eagles, and Tassadar wisely gave it wide berth. In fact, he was very aware of it. Wolfgar scouting out those bushes there with his Psionic Storm, staying very, very defensively. This keep is extremely low. It needs but a whiff of air to be blown down by the Angry Wolf, and the Angry Wolf is coming, or should I say, the Boston Eagles. They're trying to tentatively poke some damage away at that keep. It's a major prize if they could potentially take it.
The Ravens doing their best to defend this map here on Raven Court. Going to do whatever they can, but it looks like the Eagles decide to go ahead and maneuver their way to the middle map. They realize the Ravens want to establish and keep that keep, and I don't blame them. They need that keep. As soon as they lose that, a lot of map pressure will be in that bottom lane, and they'll be in for a world of hurt as we move into the late game. So nice defense there by the Ravens, but now a tribute is up, and the Eagles are in position to grab it. What do the Ravens even do here?
Man, I mean, they understand that the opponent has a 1 out of 3 progress on the tribute, so it's not a disaster to give this one away. But then you've got to wonder, when are you going to start taking it back? And I can understand their reluctance to jump into a battle here. Sometimes you may not know the road to victory. That's the nature of competition. You may not be able to make something happen. You've just got to hope that the enemy will make a mistake. I've played some competitions in my life, and that's sometimes what I had to do. You want to know, oh, well, I'll just do this and this and this to get back into it. It's not always that simple. They're accepting that they're the underdog. The entire map presence is being soaked up by the Boston Eagles. The Carleton Ravens just have to hope maybe they'll slip up.
I agree, Grubby. They got to wait for an opportunity to present itself, and an opportunity might come now, right now, as all teams are heading to the tribute in the 12 o'clock position. The red team, the Ravens, are here first. They're looking like they may be able to get something. In fact, they're all huddled up in a bush. The idea here is maybe we pick somebody up, like Apollo, maybe Fabs. If we could take one of those members out, we'll be in a great position. But Mate up here in the top right corner was not scouted. Let's see how this goes down. All
right, they're jumping on Mate there. Keep in mind, he's got an escape. Fabs is being jumped on by Cadaverific. ETC comes in here on Semi-Cute. A big fight. Illidan goes down almost immediately. He gets safe from the brink of death, but Rhaegar's down already. Down goes Wolfgar on the Tassadar. We've got bad odds here for the Carleton Ravens. 3 versus 5 would be a miracle if they'd be able to take it out. No! 4 takedowns. This is massive. The Boston Eagles have completely routed the Carleton Ravens.
Fitzy gets picked off at the last second. This is a free tribute here from Fabs. Fabs is grabbing it. In fact, the Boston Eagles think they may have the game won. They're all heading in the top lane straight for the core. And there's another 25 seconds before any members here for the Ravens even spawn. The Boston Eagles, with impeccable play, look like they'll secure the first victory in the series.
Yeah, exactly. This core cannot defend by itself, and it's being taken down, and they're shooting at it with impunity. 0%. Core down, victory, and well-deserved point to Boston College.
Man, if I had to say anything about the Boston Eagles in that game, I think there's only one word I would use, and that's clean. They looked very, very clean throughout the entire game. They knew when they wanted to jump on someone. Their ults, their heroics were synergized perfectly to take down members left and right. They knew how to deal with Illidan, peeling with their teammates. Overall, man, the Boston team just looked perfect in that game number 1.
Yeah, we see all levels of play in Heroes of the Storm in various competitions. Never has there been one like this, though, for the college teams. And I was wondering, what kind of level are we going to be seeing here? Heroic ability gets used. Is it going to be like, hey, guys, why didn't you follow up? But this was just perfectly. Every time they jumped in with that first heroic, there was an immediate follow-up. It was a true pleasure to watch the Boston Eagles at their craft.
Well, with the blue team having clean fights, we want to show you one of those fights in a replay really quickly here as they're trying to grab the boss. So let's go ahead and look at it as we saw the Boston team really just on point. As you can see, this is one of the golems in the top right corner. This is the main contention point. If the Ravens are able to get in here and actually get to a fight, they can get back into the game. However, look at the stun here from the top right corner from Fabs. The Roots hit a number of players. Patootie so low on HP. He's being forced to run. That hero should be in the middle of a fight right now. And overall, with Apollo and of course Semi-Q just charging forward, they're able to secure a couple more kills. Fitzy and Wolfguard just trying to run away. They actually miss a couple of their escapes, and overall, nice play, and the golem went to the blue team, and that was a huge, huge turning point in the game.
Yeah, what especially surprised me is that as they casually swatted away the enemy's attempt at trying to interrupt them at taking what they feel is theirs, capturing that grave golem, not only did they defend it with flying colors against the opponent, but they still, in the midst of all that chaos, managed to have someone capture that grave column, do the final damage. So they were essentially fighting on 2 different fronts and came out of it gloriously and victoriously. Amazing.
Well, the Boston College will, of course, be going to game number 2 against their opponent. So we're going to run to a quick commercial break, and we'll bring back game number 2 to see if we can have a comeback.